Hi, I'm Chloe Goodman, and I'm here with Alan Chimacoff, who is in our Winter 2020 photography show. Could you tell us about your background?
My background is that I am an architect, and I have practiced for 107 years. I retired from architectural practice last summer, and now I devote my time to photographic efforts. I also taught for about 30 years at a combination of places, Cornell and most of the time at Princeton. That's why I moved to Princeton, probably before you were born.
Very cool. Do you want to tell us what got you into pursuing art seriously?
Seriously, that's different from trivially.
Yeah.
It's just loving doing it, and it's driven to do it. I mean, in a sense, my whole life as an architect, since I was a design architect, not a technical architect, was spent on artistic pursuits. I started doing and being interested in photography when I was in 4th or 5th grade. And I was fascinated by cameras, and once you're fascinated with something, you have to get one. And so I got one, and I had one in particular, a brilliant 5th grade friend who said we're going to have a photography club. And so at age 10, I guess, because of this guy who gave us assignments to go photograph things like people at work, and I realized that there was something to the picture that's more than just the picture itself. So it was a gift from that guy to me that has stayed with me pretty much forever. And I got seriously into photography again. I had done a bunch of darkroom work and so forth, but I was only so-so at that. And then when I discovered Photoshop in my laptop about 15 years ago, I said, this is really interesting. I got a darkroom with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And I can just load pictures into my thing. I used to travel a lot, so I would work on airplanes and so forth. And it's just one thing led to another, and then I got really serious and discovered I was reasonably good at it. And so, you pursue things. And periodically I've had the opportunity, which I do now, to work on it full-time. You work on anything full-time, you can get pretty good at it.
Cool. So you kind of went into this a little bit, but can you tell me about your art making process? Like, what gives you the ideas, how you execute it?
Well, I've always been interested, once I discovered modern art, I've always been interested in abstractions. Really driven to try to make real things abstract. Sometimes you can't, and so the things that are obviously architectural things, and I don't consider myself an architectural photographer in any normal stretch of the imagination, but I do use the city, because I'm a passionate city guy, as the subject matter. As you can see here, this is a composite of a number of photographs. Many of my photographs are purely abstractions, but all derived from certain aspects of reality. What I've learned is that I am a profligate shooter, meaning now that I don't have to pay for film, it's all virtually free, and so I do an awful lot of evaluation of what's worth keeping and what to do with things in the computer after taking pictures and so forth. And so, well, I guess you'll probably get to these in particular, because all of the images that I'm putting into this show, all but one, are composites. I could go into that now if you want.
Yeah.
Because these are to me particularly interesting, and they came about by accident, pure accident, as follows. And Alfa Gallery was responsible for the accident. Last year, same show, in January, I was invited to participate, and I made a little mailer. It wasn't a mailer, it was an emailer, and I assembled abutting one another, all of the images that I was putting into the show. And I didn't say anything about it other than the information about the gallery and so forth, those kinds of things that show up on those kinds of announcements. And several people, friends and so forth, some of whom were very knowledgeable art people, said that collage was fabulous. And I thought to myself, that was no collage. And I looked at it again and I said, well, actually, maybe it was. So I got back to one of them who he was I knew him when I was at Cornell. He was the director of the Cornell University Art Museum. I said, explained that he had misread or he hadn't misread it, I had sort of disassembled it because there were no gaps in between the images.
Yeah.
And did he think that there was any kind of artistic possibility in pursuing that as a way of thinking and depicting cities and other things? And he said, yes, absolutely. So I started assembling things. And it takes a while to get the grip on things. I mean, I've shuffled images back and forth. And each one has got its own basic theme. This one is called New York City Streets. There's another one that is about corrugated stuff. There's a building in Trenton that where I also go quite a bit, and it's all corrugated, but it in itself is like an abstract painting, and so the abstract painting then gets abstracted further by assembling numbers of pictures. There's one group of photographs from Los Angeles, all of the same place. So there's a sort of a multifaceted, almost cubist-like arrangement of the same billboard multiple times, many times over. So to get back to the heart of your question, really the essence of what I make, I find in the images, and I mean the images obviously start from something real on the street or whatever.
Yeah, cool. So what do you hope that viewers and audience that come to see your artwork will take out of it?
Well, that's a very tough question, actually. This is the biggest. These prints are 38 inches, which is the biggest my printer can do, and it's probably the biggest frame that I can afford. But if I could assemble these the way I wanted to, and maybe someday I will, I would make them 2 times bigger, 4 times bigger, so that the element of time would enter as people. I mean, I think they have to be, in the ideal, they might be 12 feet or 16 feet wide, and if this is 8 or 9 inches, so then multiply that, so that would be almost human height. And ideally, they're in a place where someone can see the whole image from far away, but not really grasp the detail. And then to get the detail of things, to get close and move along, entering the sort of time aspect of things as you would on a city street. So that to me would be what people could take from this. There are many of my photographs, not here, that are really about abstracting details of things that people never really get to look at. Because we walk down a city street, we don't see stuff, but the things that people make, I mean, some brick mason did all of this stuff.
It's very
when you could get close, if it's big, since these are all basically fairly high resolution individual photographs, I could make them 6 feet high and endless length. And they would have rich and elaborate detail in them, which is another aspect to what the purpose of these is, to get people to see things, to look and see more than the normal kind of casual scan that we all do, myself included. I'm always stunned when I stop and look at things for their detail.
All right, so what made you interested in Alfa Art Gallery?
Well, a year ago, I didn't know anything about it. And a year ago, Andrew Darlow was the curator of the show. And I've known him for ages, actually. I figured it out the other day, a dozen years. I don't know if you know Andrew. I mean, he's a...
Not personally, yeah.
Well, Andrew's a real interesting character. I mean, he knows endless amounts of stuff. And he has got a heart as big as the world, and is really interested in sharing his knowledge. And he wrote a couple of books. I got one that was called 301 Tips on Digital Printing or something like that. And I was looking through it. It was kind of brilliant. And he complained about something that I had been worrying about, so I wrote to him, emailed him on the site that he had published in the book, and so we started communicating. I didn't know where he was. For all I knew, he was in Saskatchewan, but he turned out to be in Piscataway, and so we got to be friends. And Andrew is an info pack rat, and he will offer you all kinds of ideas and solutions, and the expectation is he gets something back. And so Andrew invited me to last year's show. I've used him as a consultant in a variety of ways at a variety of times. And that's how I found out about Alfa.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. You can view more of his artwork at our website, alfaart.org. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.